Let's look at the syllabus in the MyMathLab classroom for the Redesign courses. I'll be going over the Math 65 syllabus. The Math 55 and 85 syllabi are very similar. I'll point out the differences as we go along. Most of this you can read for yourself. The most important thing for now are the required materials. You will need to purchase the Transitional Mathematics Workbook. It does come with the MyMathLab access code. Now, if you've already purchased that in the last semester, or maybe even 2 or 3 semesters ago, you probably will be okay. You want to ask your instructor just to make sure. In Math 65 and 85, you're allowed to use a scientific calculator or TI graphing calculator, Texas Instruments graphing calculator, number TI 84 or below. TI 84 or TI 83 are the preferred ones. You cannot use the TI 89, TI 92, TI Inspire, or any other calculator that recognizes variables. It's highly recommended to get the TI 84 or TI 83 if you know you're going to take college algebra in the future. Now, the graphing calculator is not required, and if you want to use a scientific calculator, that's fine. In Math 55, the MyMathLab system has a calculator built in. Now, that will appear in Module 3 and throughout the rest of the class. It will also appear in Modules 1 and 2 eventually. You just have to be looking for it. Once again, read this. If you have any questions, always ask your instructor. Your instructor will post his or her information and probably will post their official syllabi in Blackboard or hand it to you the first day of class. So ask your instructor what the syllabi are. Now, the courses are broken down into 6 modules. Let me say it again. Math 55 and Math 65 have 6 modules. Math 85 has 5 modules. You can read these descriptions of each module. The grading criteria: 75% of the class is based on the modules, and 25% is based on the comprehensive final exam. In order to complete the class, you must complete all the modules and have earned at least 70% in the class and at least 50% on the comprehensive final exam. The MP grade is earned if you have completed at least 3 new modules and have met the attendance requirement of 450 minutes class time not being missed. That means you can't miss more than 6 class meetings to be eligible to receive the MP grade. Missing more than 6 class meetings or more than 450 minutes can result in an automatic failing grade. You just have to check with your instructor about that. And easiest way or the main ways to receive a failing grade is to not complete at least 3 modules, or not meet the attendance requirement, or to cheat on the final exam, or to cheat really in any part of the class. Final exam, you have until May the 5th through May the 9th to complete the final exam, which is basically the class. Now, these days will change. This is just a week for final exams. And so the final exams will vary based on your instructor and based on when your class meets. Now, you do not have to wait till that time to take the final exam. Once you complete all the modules, you're more than welcome to take the final exam immediately. We highly recommend that you do not wait after you finish the last module. Go ahead and take the final exam. If you're new to college, you have until midterm to withdraw at your own discretion. After that, you'll need your instructor's signature, so keep that in mind. If you do withdraw or if you do fail a class, any modules that you completed, those grades will not transfer over at all, including the ones you may have completed in the previous semester. So keep that in mind. Withdrawing is not the thing you really want to do. You really want to ask your instructor about what's the possibility of earning an MP grade. You're required to turn in your written work on any test that you take in the class, any pre-tests and exit tests. So make sure that you're doing the work, showing the work as you take those tests, and make sure that you submit those to your instructor. The attendance is 10% of each module grade, so keep that in mind. Once again, if you miss more than 450 minutes of regularly scheduled class, the instructor has the right to fail the students. So the number one way to fail any math class is to start missing a lot. So you really want to come every day if possible. If you get caught cheating in a module, the least that will be done, you'll be required to redo that module. So don't cheat. The main ways that people like to cheat, they have to use their notes. You cannot use any notes whatsoever. You cannot have your cell phone out, so make sure you keep your cell phone put away. You cannot help each other during exams, so most people know what it means to cheat, so don't cheat. Now the way this course works, I'm actually going to go over the My Math Lab classroom to demonstrate the process. So you will have 6 modules. Actually you have 7 in 5.5 and 6.5. The 7th one is just the final exam module. 85 has 6 modules. The 6th one is the final exam module. You'll be able to find the template of the syllabus in modules 1 and in the final exam modules. What you can do is you can watch all the videos first for any given module. Some people like to do that before they take the pre-test. Now what I mean by pre-test is each module has its own module 1 or module pre-test. Now some things have changed if you've been with us in previous semesters. On this module 1 pre-test, it still applies if you make at least a 90 on the pretest. You only get one attempt on the pretest, by the way. If you make at least a 90 on that one attempt on the pretest and you're satisfied, you don't have to do anything else that you see. You're done with the module, and that's your grade for the whole module. So that's one reason why people like to do or watch all the videos first. You don't have to. In some modules, it's not even recommended. Just talk to your instructor on what they may think. The videos that are here can also be found here. These over here are all the videos for the whole module. These are the videos broken down based on the individual homework assignments. You cannot access the homework assignments until you take the pretest first. Now, one thing that's changed with the pretest is if you make at least an 85 but not a 90, you can immediately proceed to Module 1 Exit Test Attempt 1. So this is a big change for some people. So, if you make at least a 90 on the pretest and you're satisfied, you're done with the class. If you make at least an 85 but not a 90, you can immediately proceed to the Exit Test Attempt 1. And whatever grade you make on that, if it's at least an 80 and you're satisfied, you're done with the class. If not, you proceed on trying to earn at least 80% on the Exit Test Attempt 1. So that's a big change. Keep that in mind. 90 you're done, 85 you can proceed to attempt 1. Otherwise, you must do the homework assignments. You're required to complete the homework assignments at least 80%. Each homework problem can be done as many times as you want. So we highly recommend going for the 100%. And the better you do on the homework assignments, the better prepared you'll be for the exit test. And these flags will tell you what the prereqs are before you can access each individual homework assignment. So to go from homework 1 to homework 2, you must make at least 80% on homework 1 after you take the pretest, of course. You may want to start the homework assignments at home, but you haven't done the pretest yet. You can email some instructors and they'll submit the 0 for you. Some students, when it comes to the pretest, don't even look at them and go ahead and just submit it and get a 0. It doesn't count towards your grade. The only time it counts towards your grade, the pretest score that is if you make at least a 90%. Now let's say you do all the homework and you get to the exit test attempt 1 and you don't make at least 80%. Doesn't mean that you're kicked out of class or anything. It just means that you have to do some practice assignments. Now to get to attempt 2, you either have to make at least 95 on practice 1 or at least 80 on these 3 quizzes. Now not every module has 3 quizzes. Some have 2, some have 4. It just depends on the module. So if you do either or, you can do attempt 2. Now, let's say that you do the practice 1 and you take attempt 2 and you don't make the 80. That means that you'll have to do the quizzes then to get to attempt 3. Now what some people will do, or can do, you can go ahead and do all the practice and all the quizzes and then you'll have 2 immediate attempts on the exit test. And if you don't get the 80 on after the 3rd attempt, there's another practice. You can do attempt 4. Now after that, if you need additional attempts, you'll need to meet with your instructor about what to do. There are some reviews here. They are not required, but highly recommended. There's some other videos here, excellent videos that we highly recommend watching. Um, all the modules are pretty much set up the exact same way, except in Math 85. In Module 3, you only need a 70% on the exit test to complete that module. So Math 85, 70% is required. In the other classes, 80%, or other modules, 80% is required. Now you'll notice also over here there's some bonus questions. Each module has a 5% bonus that's applied to the exit test only, except for Math 85. Module 3 doesn't have a bonus question, so keep that in mind. So everything's pretty much the same, except in 85 Module 3 requires a 70% on the exit test and not an 80, and doesn't have a bonus for the exit test. And so that's pretty much how a typical module is arranged, and that's how you complete a module. In Math 55, or I take that back, in Math 65 and Math 85 modules, in Module 1 for each of those courses, in 65 and 85, you will see a course pretest. Now if you've already, so far in 065, if you've already completed 055, don't worry about this course pretest. Go ahead and start with Module 1 pretest. If you're in 065 and you haven't had 055, or if you're in 085 and haven't had 065, we strongly recommend that you take this course pretest. You can take it at home. It's the only exam you can take at home. All the other exams must be taken in the classroom. The homeworks and quizzes can be done anywhere you want, at home, library, or wherever. But the pretest and exit tests have passwords. That's why you must take them in the lab. You can take them in the lab based on availability. If you're in London and Somerset, you can take the exams anytime you want, as long as someone is there that has a password. But for this course pretest, in this 065 course pretest, for people that haven't had 055, you can take this test at home. We probably won't even look at the grade. It's for your benefit. If you take this course pretest and you find yourself struggling, you probably will want to switch to 055. If you're in 85, you may want to switch to 065 or 055, but let your instructor know as soon as possible. This course pretest is only meant for your benefit, to let you know where you stand. It's better to find out now when you can switch rather than later when you can't switch. So if you have any questions about that, make sure that you talk to your instructor about that. And if you have any questions about anything, always ask your instructor. So now let's go back to the syllabus. This is what all this pretty much said, what I just went over. We do have due dates. You may see them up here. There's no punishment for missing due dates. You're not locked out of the class. But if you do finish on or before this due date, you will receive 5% bonus on your module average. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, typical module, the way the grade is broken down, the attendance and then the work that's shown on the exit test is 10% of the grade. Homework is 30% and the exit exam is 60%, but where we require 80% on most modules and 70% on Module 3 for 85, you'll have a good grade, or you should anyway. And if you finish early before the deadline for the module, you get 5% extra on top of that. And then once again, like I said, if you finish the modules early, go ahead and take the final exam. You can get further attempts if you need. If you wait until the final exams week, you may only get one attempt. So the course, once again, is broken down. The modules are worth 75%, final exam 25%. And if you don't finish the course or don't finish the final exam, then you have to re-enroll into the class. No matter what, really. There's something brand new this semester. Now, these course grades on final exam is not an issue if you finish all of the units by March the 28th, 2014. If you're done with all modules by March 28th, you are not required to take the final exam, and your course grade will be based on your module grades up to that point. Now, if you want to take the final exam, that's totally up to you, and then we'll count your final exam score within your overall course average. But this is a real deal. Keep this date in mind, March 28th, 2014. If you have completed all the units by that date, you're not required to take the final exam. Your final course grade will be based on the module grades and be done with the class. There's only one exception to this. If you have received an MP from the previous semester, you must take the final exam. You cannot be exempt. Period. So we don't want you to finish just 3 modules. We want you to finish the whole class. We want you to finish the class early. So keep that in mind. Now, if you are someone that finished the class early last semester and went ahead and completed some modules early, and then if you complete the rest of the modules by March 28th, you don't have to take the final exam either. You're exempt. So the only people that cannot be exempt are people that have an MP from the previous semester. So keep that in mind. Now, if you let's say that you finished 3 modules in 055 or 065 or 085, and you had good attendance, but you didn't finish the class. Now, what that means is we don't want you to withdraw. What you'll be issued is an MP grade, What that means is you have to re-enroll next semester. You have to pay for the course. And then if you finish just the first 3 modules, that means that next semester you'll begin with module 4. So an MP is not the worst thing in the world. It's not the best thing, but it's not the worst thing either. But it does mean, however, next semester you will be required to take the final exam, no matter what. So keep that in mind. But let's say that you did get an MP last semester, and you go ahead and finish the modules this semester and the final exam. You're done with the class. That means that, and everybody can do this, anybody that finishes a class this semester early, you can go on to the next modules. And that's what this says. So if you're in 065 and you finish the class early, you can go into the 085 modules. That is, if you need college algebra. If you need Math 110, you may not need that to take the 85 modules. Check with your advisor. But if you're in 055 and you finish the class early, then you can definitely go in 065. Now, any module you complete in the next class after finishing the currently enrolled class, those module grades for the modules that are completed, those will transfer to next semester. So let's say that you're in 055, you finish 055 early, you get the 065 modules, no additional charges required this semester, and you finish module 1 065. That's as far as you can get. Well, next semester when you sign for 065, pay for the class, that module 1 grade from this semester will transfer to next semester, so you'll begin with module 2. Now let's say that you're in 055 this semester and you finish 055 and you do the 065 modules and you finish all the 065 modules. You will not be required to take the final exam no matter what, and you'll be done with the class. Period. You have earned a free class. You'll get something called step credit. It will show up as step credit in your transcript. It may be a P, but it'll be a step credit. That's what this information says right here. So if you're in 065 and you finish 065 early, no matter how you do it, either you finish the modules and you're exempt from the final exam, or you got an MP and you finish 065 modules, all the modules, and the final exam. If you go in 085 this semester and you finish all the modules by the end of the semester, not just by March 28th, but by the end of the semester, you do not have to take the final exam, and you'll be done with 085. And the reason why, if you finish the second class this semester before the end of the semester and even after March 28th, the reason why you don't take the final exam is because technically you're actually a semester ahead of when the final exam is due. So that's how you think of it. So if you have any questions about that, talk to your instructor. So in other words, we want you to finish these classes as soon as possible. It's greatly to your advantage. And if you do finish the second, if you're in 055, you can actually finish 055, 065, and 085 in the same semester. Some people have done that. Any class that you finish in the same semester, any additional class that is a free class. No additional charges apply. So keep that in mind. And we do have due dates, and we have some other information you can read for yourself. If you have any questions at all, ask your instructor.